Yo, what is up, y'all? Desmond De La Ghetto here, and we about to start a new Let's Play. One of my favorite games came out almost 20 years ago. Yeah, let's read this. Enter 2nd century China into the darkness following the collapse of the Han Dynasty. Cao Cao, an ambitious warlord, has stricken to end the chaos and reunite all lands of China. Yet in his moments of weakness, Liu Bei and Sun Quan rose up to challenge his claim to the emperor's throne. Now China stands divided into three kingdoms. Righteous warlords will clash until a leader among them restores the people as one glorious nation. And this game we're about to play, as I proudly present, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 3, Dragon of Destiny, 1993, y'all. Let's get it cracking. I am so excited. I love this game so much. It's a turn-based strategy game. Um, that's really it. I mean, that's it. That's all. It's turn-based strategy. What more can I really say? It's a good game. It's very deep. It's a little difficult if you don't know what's going on and all the different options and the consequences to different choices that you make. So let's do this. Let's start a new game. And here are all the different scenarios. Dongzhu's rivals unite. Chaotic era. Cao Cao's power expands. Zhuge Liang plots strategy. Liu Bei builds Shu Kingdom. Three kingdoms fight decay. We're gonna start with the top one. As far as I know, the 6 scenarios, they have different levels of like difficulty and intensity. I think maybe this is the easiest and this is the hardest. I'm not sure. So we're gonna start up here. Maybe in the future I will do these other ones. But let's start up here at Dongzhu's rivals unite, and the different scenarios have different uh, rulers and different generals and stuff, because obviously they're in different times. And how many players? You can play up to 8 people. I think you just pass a joystick or something like that. But we're going, I'm playing by myself, and I'm gonna play against the CPU. So obviously, let's pick one. All right, now here comes the the long list of rulers. We got, oh man, first time I played this game, I was like, yo, is this a fighting game? Like, is this like a kung fu tai chi game? But no, this is a war strategy type game. And oh my gosh, all these people. Um, I don't know the story of this game very much at all. I'm just kind of interested in the gameplay aspect. Maybe I should research a little bit into the story. I know there's the Romance of the Three Kingdoms books, and you get to know each little detail about every one of these fellas, and you can also make a new ruler, but I'm not gonna do that. But as far as I know, let's see. All right, Dongzhu, he rules Liu Yang. Oh yeah, just to let y'all know, my Chinese is kind of bad, so I'm gonna be mispronouncing names pretty badly. So, anyways, Dongzhu, I think he's in the kind of the northeast part of China. Zhang Sunzan of Bi Biping is in the northeast. What else? Cao Cao. I think everybody knows a Cao Cao of the Qianlu nation. He's kind of in the middle of China. And who else? Let me see. Kongzhu. He's kind of in the southeast. in this scenario, y'all. And my team, he's all the way up in the northwest. Like I'll show y'all. And Liu Yang of the of um, the Chindu nation. He's in the southwest, I believe. And just to let you know, each of these rulers they have different strengths, different statistics, different stats. They start out with different amounts of officers under them. They start out with different amount of soldiers. They have um, certain amount of cities. When starting out, some people start with one, some people start with like three or four. So, with each of these rulers, there are pretty much difficulties within them. And also another factor is their position um, in China. Like some people have kind of advantageous positions in China. Some of them kind of are almost landlocked in between other nations and stuff like that. And it may be kind of difficult for them to kind of build and get out. Some people already have like a nice amount of cities in a nation, or in a region. I mean, so it's easier for them to kind of spread out and kind of develop to take over. Oh yeah, and the main object is the game to kind of take over the whole um, the whole country of China with all of your cities with your ruler, as it was kind of mentioned in the introduction. So all we have to do is just take over all the cities in the game. You can lose. The way you lose is you have your clan destroyed, and hopefully I will not get my clan destroyed. I have played through this a few times, so hopefully we'll do well. So what I want to do, I want to pick Liu Bei of the Ping Yuan clan or nation. Reason why is he's kind of an intermediate type ruler. He starts off in one city. He has good charm, so it'll be pretty easy for him to recruit other people. And he's kind of sandwiched in between Dongzhu of Liu Yang's clan, and also in between him is Yuan Shou of Naiping. They'll be kind of like, you know, over and under me. Like you'll see in the map how they're kind of like surrounding me, and I kind of have a game plan on how I want to kind of take them out. But anyways, let's pick Liu Bei. All right, you can pick between beginner and advanced. I'm gonna pick beginner. Advanced, I haven't even tried that yet. I don't even know how difficult or intense that is. All right, view other cities' wars. Pick no, because that would take forever. I mean, you could if you want to kind of see how things play out and how other cities um, use strategies and whatnot. But it's gonna cut into too much game time to watch other people's cities. So we're gonna hit no. All right, you can choose between historical and fictional. Historical goes by the way it was in the books or in history. Fictional is random. I'm gonna choose historical. Not ready for fictional. Fictional that seems hella random. Like, whew, I wouldn't even know what to kind of expect when I if things are gonna be random, obviously. So we're gonna pick historical. That way things can kind of go in a kind of a natural flow. All right, everything's okay. All right, here's the map of China, and the date is January. The year is 189, and here I am. I have the sixth city. I'm gonna hit the map right here, and you see it blinking. That's me in the kind of north east kind of part, and I'm in between four cities. Above me is Yuan Shou. To the left, I don't recall. Underneath, I don't recall, and to the southwest, I don't recall. And oh yeah, see number 6, and to the left and to the right and to the bottom left and to the top, you see 5, 8, 51. Oh, 51 means, oh yeah, just to let you know, the circles, the pinkish circles, those are battlefields. Those are um, battlefields where if someone wanted to invade my city, they'll have to go through the battlefield first, and I'll have to defend it. And that helps because that way they aren't just barging into my city. I can just deploy my officers and my soldiers to the battlefield to help protect my region. So those are pretty nice, and not every city or every route has those. And you also see the white lines, the white squiggly lines. Yep, those are the roads, and those connect to the different cities. And you see some white squares. Those are open territory, which means that anybody can move up to these cities and rule them. And at the moment, we have a bunch of them right now. But once the game starts picking up, things will start filling up. So, alright, let's go back to the main screen. And you see me, Liu Bei. And you see under the name Liu Bei, I'm the ruler, and I'm also the governor of this city. And under my name, you see Guan Yu. He's my advisor. He helps me pretty much as far as like assistance. He'll give me some advice on certain plans of action that I take. And some rulers don't start out with advisors. So a lot of times you may take a certain plan of action and you may not know what the best course of action to do. And a lot of times they aren't very accurate. It depends on their amount of intelligence. Oh man, there's so much to explain in this game, and I'll talk about that a little later. But under my advisor's name, Guan Yu, his population, and I have 370,000 people in my city. Under that is gold. I have 2,300 gold at the moment. I can use that to draft soldiers, buy food, buy weapons, all sorts of things. Under that is rice or food. I have 50,000. I don't know if they go by pounds, but I'll just say 50,000 food or rice. And I need those to feed soldiers, to feed my my city, and some other things as well. I could sell it if I want. Under the food amount is soldiers, and I have 9,500 soldiers at my disposal at the moment. I need to upgrade and get more soldiers. And up the top left, you see the I think that's a a shovel and a pickaxe or a hoe. No, that's not a hoe. I think that's just a pick, and that stands for land development, and I have 60. Land development is for planting food. Well, basically you develop the land, and under that amount you see I have 0. That's cultivation. That's the amounts of cultivated land from the population. So I develop the land, and then I grow the food. That's what it means. And the higher amount that is, the more food I will get. And in every July there is the harvest, and I will get a certain amount of food cultivated from the land. So I would get food, a food tax every July. Under cultivation, I have flood control, which is at 55. It helps protect cities from floods, and there are certain weather conditions that can start a flood. And from what I gathered, I think if the city has a flood, the population decreases, and I think popular support decreases, which I will get into. Below flood control is that's the economy. The economy is at 450 gold. The higher amount of economy, the more money I would get in tax time, which is every July, which is right now. And I collect the tax and I pay a percentage of that to my soldiers as well. Under that, you see the little person kind of looking like he's kind of bowing down in a submissive position. That's um, popular support or public support. That basically means the happiness of the population. Right now is at 50. Is not good. The lower the amount it is, they may rebel, and I think soldiers may rebel, food may lower, the economy may lower. It'll basically cause havoc in the cities. I have to upgrade that up to 100. 100 is best. That way they'll stay happy, and you'll get more food in July and more money in January from the economy. So always keep that up. Under the popular support is the tax percentage that I receive is at 40, and I think I received that from the amount of the economy that is built, I believe. And under the tax percentage are the amount of officers I have. I have 3. You see the little, I think it looks like a bird or a phoenix. Those are the amount of officers I have. All right, whew, so much to explain in this game. This game is pretty deep. So why don't we start right here? I'm at military. Oh, also one thing I noticed in this game is that they tend to abbreviate a lot of the options, so it can be kind of confusing, and they don't explain things in the game. You know, this was made 20 years ago. I think they explain almost everything in the game in the manuals, and I know in this day and age it's hard to get a game manual, so it's best to kind of look online like at Game FAQs, which is helping me out. So we're going to military options. Right here, this is move. You can move to uh, a, a neighboring town that you have conquered, or that is in open territory. So right now we can't select it because we have other cities occupied by different rulers. Send is to send supplies. Oh, move when excuse me, when you move, you can move officers along with food and supplies. And you can also move your ruler and have him rule that city. But then you'll have to set a governor to whatever city that you leave behind if you aren't abandoning the whole town, and I'll get into that a little later. And the difference between send is that you just send food and money to your other cities. And for some reason, I tend to like move a little better because when you send stuff, it tends to be stolen by bandits, which is a kind of a somewhat of a random situation that happens, and they can take almost all your stuff or a good amount of your stuff. So honestly, I'll rather move stuff than send things to other cities. Once we start building um, other cities and we start building our region up, um, right here, rally. This is to rally the troops to increase their morale. And you see our morale is at 40. Higher morale means that the soldiers will be more hyped up, and they will also go without food in battle much longer than if they have a low amount of morale. They'll basically consume food at a lower pace in battle, which we will get into once we get into a battle. And when you motivate the soldiers, the first number you see is at 40. It will go into the second digit, and then it'll keep going back and forth, and it'll keep increasing. So we'll try to get morale up to 100, which is pretty important. And but we won't do that right now. So let me go back. Go to military. War means to invade a city, and we have 4 cities where we can choose from. And if we wanted to choose one of these, we'll have to go through the battlefield first, and then one of these cities will send in some reinforcements. So right now, we're not going to go to war just yet. and we get to send any of uh, the officers, and we could send food and money. And next is draft. Now draft is to basically increase the amount of soldiers you have. Draft is also when you recruit an experienced soldiers. So that means that their morale and their training, which I will get into later, will be started off pretty low. But they are cheap to buy. Like they are at least they cost $10, or I should say gold. I'm gonna say gold. It costs $10 and 100 food for 100 men, and also popular support decreases as well. And the war amount, you see the war ability. The higher amount, the more soldiers that I can potentially draft, which is pretty cool. So if I have 100, that means I can probably draft at least 100. 68, it'll be much lower. And if you combine them two together, you'll be able to recruit more. But be sure to look at your population, because that's where the soldiers will come from. And just also keep in mind that your popular support may decrease. And similar on that end is hire. You hire experienced soldiers. These soldiers are a little bit more expensive. They are it costs 40 gold and 200 food for 100 men. And popular support also decreases. The charm uh, um, depends on, or decides how many men you can recruit. So you see my ruler Liu Bei has a charm of 99, Guan Yu has 96, Zhang Fei has 36. So it would be best to have Liu Bei or Guan Yu hire the soldiers. Next, whew, is train your soldiers. You train them; they'll be stronger in battle, and you can train up to 6 months. Um, next to to explain is assign. You get to assign soldiers or redistribute them to different rulers and whatnot. And next is ship. Oh man, I haven't used ship yet. I think ship means to build boats, ships. I'm not in the south, so I can't. I don't have like a harbor or anything like that, so we won't be using ship. Next is personnel or personal. These are more well, I won't say domestic options, but these are more kind of on like personal kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Options that involves people and your officers. So search means to search the city for other officers, and sometimes you may find items which will be really useful, and you can extend that up to a few months if you are a civil officer. If you're not a civil officer, you can't, and I will get into that later of the different types of officers. Recruit means to recruit officers from different cities if you have information on them, and cities that you have, or current cities that have free officers from your search. Reward means to reward your officers. Higher reward means that they won't leave you. Lower reward means that they will leave you and that they're unhappy. You can reward them in different ways. You can reward them with money, an item that you find, or a book, a regular book. Um, it helps if you don't have money, or if you don't want to use money, or if you don't want to use an item. But a regular book will increase their loyalty by a little bit. Your charm tends to help that a little bit more. If you have low charm as a ruler, then it won't cause any effect. But we won't do that right now. Give is to give money to, oh no, not money, give food to the population to make them a little bit more happy. So honestly, why don't I kind of want to do that right now. No, I'll do it later. I'm kind of explaining things at the moment, but I need it because my public support is at 50. Ooh, delegate means to let the computer rule the city, and we won't use that right now because we don't have any other cities. But it's a pretty important option to use. Appoint means to appoint certain ranks to an officer, and there are many. There are 5 different ranks. Right here, this is a advisor. Like I said before, he advises the ruler or the governor of a particular city or town. His intelligence um, determines the accuracy of his advice, and the higher intelligence, the more that he'll be able to become an advisor. Governor, it basically means that they have high war ability, high army ability. They're good in battle. This is a military officer. It's a lower rank of the general, and they kind of have moderate war ability and moderate um, army ability. Right here is a civil officer. It's the lower form of the advisor. He has good political ability, um, moderate intelligence, moderate charm. You will use civil officers when searching for other officers, searching for items, spying in other cities to gain information, and to also develop domestic matters, which I will get into. And this is the governor. Governor will govern this a certain city. Um, One thing to remember when you have other cities, if you want to um, control the decisions of the city, the same way the ruler has, you have to assign the governor from advisor or general. If you assign the governor from a military officer or a civil officer, it will be automatically delegated, which means the computer will decide and control the city. So try to remember that. I'll explain it again once we start delegating and moving to other cities. Whew, what's next? Oh, fire means the fire officer. Maybe if he has low loyalty and you kind of sense that he might walk out, you can fire him. If you do that, I think your popular support decreases. Seize means to take away an item from a officer. Their loyalty will decrease. Um, Next is diplomatic. Ally means to ally with a a neighboring city or ruler, for they won't mess with you for a certain amount of time. They can revoke it whenever they want if they feel that they don't want to ally with you, or they just want to break the alliance and they just want to fight with you. Joint means to invade a city with another city, kind of like collaboration. Truce. I never really use truce that much. I think that just means to basically call a truce when you're fighting another nation. I think it happens when your battle carryovers from a month. Exchange means to kind of trade food, exchange money, exchange weapons, and all that kind of depends on your ruler's charm. The lower amount of charm, the basically the lower chances he has to successfully exchange with another ruler. Help means to just ask for something from another ruler. If you're just down in the dumps, you can just say, "Yo, can you help me out? I need money. I need food." Not in exchange, but just help. Threaten means to threaten a nation. If you have good charm and good intelligence, you could basically tell them to kind of bow down and back off. And I never really successfully used threaten that much. And when you go threaten a ruler, you gotta send a guard with them in case they might get captured. So be sure to always do that. And again, the success is this is determined by um, the messenger's strength and charm. Rope means to break an alliance with another ruler. Like I said before, if you have an alliance with a ruler and you just want to break it, you could just break it. And just remember that the your officer's loyalty will drop, and popular support will drop too if your hostility towards the city is under 70. Oh man, what else? Well, oh, let me explain info real quick, and I will actually stop the video for part two. Spy means to spy on a neighboring city. So we send a spy out to any one of these cities, and they will arrive in the city within the month. And it's best to send civil officers, that way they can spend a few months there collecting data. 3 months is good for just collecting city data, and 6 months you'll probably get more data like specific stats on officers' intelligence, loyalty, and other abilities. And it's best to send a civil officer that has a good amount of political ability. Like right now, I don't have a civil officer, even though they my other officers, like my ruler and Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, they're have different amounts. It's best to send a civil officer. That way you can get better data, because they'll stay there a little bit longer. And also, you kind of want to free these guys up if they aren't civil officers, so they can do other matters in the month. Okay, we're in info. Own means to look at our own information. You can look at the information in the officer view. Shows the rank, shows the name, show picture. I might as well go through the different abilities. Age 29. I think they can die if they're too old by natural causes. Underneath age is loyalty. He's a ruler. He's automatically fully loyal. The year is blank because he's a ruler. He has 5,000 soldiers assigned to him. Up top is intelligence. Intelligence is good for it's good in wars. It's good in political and domestic matters. It's a pretty important statistic, and it's good to have that high. Um, POL means political matters. That's good for personal and domestic matters, as far as developing the economy and whatnot. War is good for battles. War determines the amount of soldiers that you can draft, and is also good for in battle. I think the amount of mobility you can move with in battle. I'm not sure, and it's also important in duels, because in this game, when you fight in a war, you can be challenged to a duel, and the higher war you have, the higher amount that you'll win. Charm, again, that's good for personal matters, and good for domestic matters, as far as making people happy, making sure certain plots are successful. If you have low amounts of charm, then they won't be successful. And it also is pretty good for I believe rewarding officers. If your charm is low, then they won't be the likelihood of them being rewarded will have a less effect. So make sure that your ruler has a higher amount of charm, or any other governor. And also, charm is good for. Oh wait, I already explained that. That is good for drafting, hiring soldiers. Army. I have a little bit of a trouble knowing the difference between the arm. Well, I think that means to hire soldiers. Not entirely sure. Um, yeah, I'm not entirely sure the difference between the army and the war ability. Navy is good for that's good for ship battles. We won't be using those. Training, we will upgrade that. That's good for the strength of soldiers when they're in battle. And morale is good for um, how long the soldiers will last without food and how much food that they um, uh, intake while in battle. So considering the different officers in the game, as you see right here, we got Zhang Fei. He's a general. It's always good that generals have good war, good army, good navy if you're in ship battles, and their other um, statistics besides training and morale doesn't really matter. Like for example, you see his intelligence is mad low. He's in the 30s range. His political ability is in 18. So he's good for battles. He's um, a general because of his war and army and navy abilities. And you see Guan Yu, he's an advisor. You see that he has pretty good war too. The advisors can go to war as well, unlike civil officers. Civil officers, they can't have any soldiers, and I'll show that to you later. But you see that his intelligence is pretty high, is in the 82 range, and his political matters is kind of in the middle, but his charm is really good. So he's going to be good for certain plots, and he will also give me somewhat accurate predictions. But yeah, he has pretty good army, pretty good um, war numbers. Oh, you can also view the items that they have. He has a black dragon, and that increases the war ability. And if you remember, let me go back to him. You see that his war ability is in 103 and it's in yellow. That means that it was upgraded from the items, and you'll see that more once I start distributing items to other um, officers. That you'll see, the colors will be yellow, means that they were upgraded, and that seems like that's the only way that you can upgrade things in this game is um, through items. Like there's no experience points or anything like that. So you gotta be careful about who you assign um, uh, certain levels of what's the word I'm looking for? Well, basically certain ranks. Yeah, certain ranks or whatever. So be sure to look at the numbers. So oh man, list means that you can see the officers in a list. You press left and right, shows intelligence, political ability, war, all these other different numbers and stuff like that. Pretty good if you want to kind of see what's going on. The main difference between looking at it at a list and looking at it in an officer's view is when you select it, you also kind of see what they're currently doing at the moment, which is nothing. And the city shows the statistics of a city, as you see, as you kind of saw before. Population 370,000. You also see a bit more information. You see how many weapons I have all the way in the third column on the right. I have 34 crossbows, 15 arrows. I have 30 horses, and that will it means that I can assign 300 crap. You have to use a little math when it comes to the weapons. It's the amount goes into how many hundreds of soldiers that you can equip with, and I'll explain that later. And all the way below, you see, under the weapons, you see the different ships I don't have any ships. Under the flood control, which is at 55, in the second column, you see irrigation. It lets me know how good my land is. Rate means market rate. It means tax percentage, I believe, and my public support is at 50. And below that, all the way in the bottom part of the screen, you see highlighted in green is the market rate for the merchant. So if I wanted to sell something, that's the amount that I will probably get. So I think I'm gonna stop right here for right now. My tongue is kind of tired from talking so much. In the second video, I will explain development, domestic options, plots, the market, and emergency options. And that's about it. Thanks for joining me on this first episode of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 3 for Super Nintendo. I'm Desmond De La Ghetto. See y'all later. Peace.